2024 is looking like another big year for games, with no end in sight. Here are 10 games that are releasing this year for the PS5. A little disclaimer, these games are confirmed to be released or may already be out for 2024, so there may be some surprises before the end of the year, we just don't know yet. So let's get started in no particular order. At number 10 was Star Wars Outlaws. The first open-world Star Wars game is almost upon us, developed by Massive Entertainment, the studio that gave us The Division and recently Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. You play as Kay Vess with her sidekick Nyx, who get tangled up with the criminal syndicates. To gain your freedom, you need to pull off the heist of a lifetime, whilst also taking on the galaxy. So far, there doesn't seem to be any lightsabers, and it focuses more on a Han Solo type character, with guns and grappling hooks, whilst also getting into dogfights as you pilot spaceships. Set between The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi, this game looks like it's going to be a breath of fresh air and the best thing from Ubisoft in a while. It's scheduled to release on August 30th, 2024. For number 9, we jump to Silent Hill 2. A survival horror game published by Konami and developed by the Bloober team, who also developed The Medium in the past. They have the job of remaking the 2001 game of the same name. It's been a while since we've had a mainline game from the franchise, so fans of the series are excited. Although we don't actually know too much about this one, the combat looks tricky and the setting, as you would expect, is terrifying. With, say, only a piece of wood or a gun with a limited amount of bullets, you are trying to solve the riddle of the letter your deceased wife had sent you whilst navigating a slew of misshapen monsters. No release date yet, but it does say 2024, so let's hope. At number 8, we have Black Myth Wukong. Centered around Chinese mythology with loads of fantasy elements based on the classical 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West. It is an action RPG with some Souls-like looking mechanics. The character design looks so detailed, the boss battles and combat are so unique and insane looking. When it showed its first trailers, it just grabbed everyone's attention, and soon we can actually get our hands on it and try it out. Release date is August 20th, 2024. It definitely looks ambitious, so let's hope the developers Game Science don't disappoint upon release and keep the game as polished as we've seen in the trailers so far. For number 7, we have none other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's of course an action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix. This is the second in the series of remakes of the highly regarded 1997 Final Fantasy VII with a planned trilogy. There is a lot of hype around this game as fans were eager to find out what happens next, as the remake has strayed a little from the main storyline of the original. This edition opens up the world with more to explore, some new mechanics, more party-driven combat, so yeah, plenty to get stuck into. The game's already out now and the reviews have been great. If you're new to the series or a long-time fan of the franchise, I'm sure you'll get a lot from this one. At number 6, we have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, an action-adventure platformer game developed and published by Ubisoft. This is going back to the roots of the franchise with the 2D Metroidvania style, and one of the best ones we've seen of late. You don't play as the actual Prince of Persia, in fact, you are trying to rescue him as a hero named Sargon, a young member of the warrior clan, the Immortals. Centered around Persian lore, this game is just downright fun. The combat is exciting, the boss battles are enjoyable, they really went the extra mile with every detail to make this an overall great game. It released at the start of 2024 and is playable on PS5 right now. Well done Ubisoft for starting the year strong. For number 5, we have Rise of the Ronin, an open-world, story-focused game with Souls-like elements. Developed by Team Ninja, who did Nioh and Nioh 2, this is a 19th century Japanese game. There is a conflict going on and you are an awesome samurai-like character who is geared up with a katana, of course, as well as a grappling hook, a gun, a glider, and loads more weapon options to try out. The scenery looks really impressive and so does the combat, and there is a lot of combat. It can be challenging at the start, but once you learn different styles, it's so satisfying. There are a few flaws to this game that are being fixed, but as a whole, there is a lot of fun to be had. If you can't wait for the next installment of Ghosts of Tsushima, then maybe this is the game that can scratch that itch for now. Now for number 4 with Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Yet another remake on the list. This year seems to be full of them, and not in a bad way, as this game looks visually stunning. We just hope Konami keep the same flair and intrigue we get from the original games, as I'm sure they would get some backlash from the die-hard fans. Konami and Metal Gear fans have had a storied past, but this one could be the revival we are all looking for right now. There isn't too much on this game yet, but reports suggest we should be seeing this game sometime this year. Now on to number 3 with Dragon's Dogma 2. This is the long-awaited sequel to Dragon's Dogma, an action role-playing game and Capcom's take on the genre, which was a success back in 2014. Fans have been waiting for this one for 10 years, but it's finally here. Thankfully, they have not disappointed and given fans exactly what they wanted. A really strong narrative, a huge variety of character classes to play that are interchangeable whenever you want. Great visuals not only in the scenery but also in the combat. It's so satisfying to rain down lightning on top of your foes as a sorcerer, or move extremely fast as a thief. There are giant foes to take down that you can climb on top of, and unexpected encounters at every corner. The mechanic of pawns works really well and adds a nice flourish to an already enjoyable game. Out now on PS5. Number 2, we have Tekken 8. Another successful addition to the 30-year-old series, and hats off to Bandai Namco for continuing to keep fighting games interesting and unique. They have included new game modes, new characters including a character creator and modifier, and new abilities, with a pretty good storyline continuation to go along with it. Fans of Tekken are very happy with how it turned out. It's definitely one that I have already been playing a lot this year, and you can as well, as it released back in January. Finally, for number 1, we have Persona 3 Reload. It's a JRPG developed and published by Atlus and is a remake of Persona 3, upgrading it in many ways by taking bits that worked well from later games in the series but also keeping all the beloved elements of the original classic. It has a fun and polished combat system, an intriguing story, and a visually pleasing design. From dungeon crawling and building up relationships to collecting personas, this game will keep you busy and interested. A great addition to an already popular series of games. This was just 10 games that are coming to PS5 in 2024, but let us know in the comments what PS5 games you are playing this year, or ones you are excited to play that aren't out yet. We obviously couldn't go through every game, so if there's some that you think we missed that you want us to explore, then let us know. But if you just enjoy listening to us talk about games, then give us a like, and if you're not already and want to hear us talk more about games, then you can also subscribe to us. Here are a few more videos from us that you may want to check out.